Hello again and welcome to Tips with Andrew. I am Andrew Sapiano. Thank you so much for joining me on this happy Monday. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. Excuse me. Rocked out whatever goals, hopes, plans, dreams, ambitions you had and are currently ready for the week. I know, as ready as we can be on a Monday. Let's just go with that. How about that? Quickly before we get started here, convention tickets have gone on sale for Doterra. That event is in September. If you are at all interested in essential oils, natural alternative living, how to get your hand or how to reduce the toxic load in your lifestyle, how to live a natural, healthier, chemical-free lifestyle. This is definitely an event that you do not want to miss. It's actually one of my favorite times of year. I love convention. There's so much cool stuff that happens, new products, exclusive products, science behind why the oils work, how they work with our body, a little bit from, where the direction of the company is going and how they help top advisors for how they're, running their things and what's working for them, what's not working. And it's actually, it's such a cool time. I'm super excited for it. So it's going to be in person or online, live stream. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to me, drop me a comment, send me a message, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. Free product this month up until the 15th. What day are we? I am not too late. 15th is Cyprus. Great for calming, relaxing, especially this time of year, right? Emotions can get really high, especially in the summertime, right? When you're trying to get everything done. Definitely, if you're interested in free stuff, reach out to me, get you rocking and rolling. All right, let's get into today's topic. What I wanted to talk about today was actually, I finished reading a book called Start With Why, and that's really going to be my topic for today. It is going to be the lessons that I learned from this book, and actually, this was a really cool book that I was able to read. I was able to bang this out, and the writing you can see is not that big. I was able to bang it out in a few days, less than a week. It was a really easy read. It was really, a lot of great tips, a lot of great, it's built around stories. And, so it's a really cool book for anybody that is interested. It's how great leaders inspire everyone to take action. So the premise around the book is more for if you have a business, that you're trying to run and you're trying to get your whatever out into the universe. This is really what it's all about, but I would recommend this to really anybody too, because, this is really if you wanted to sell anything, right? And if you're looking for sales, if you're looking for, to get ahead in the business world, but also, right, we as people, we're salespeople all the time, right? So if you want to sell, your wife on a, you don't really need to sell her on a vacation, but if you want to sell her on a particular destination, right? You want to sell the kids on why they need to go to bed early, why they need to eat their vegetables. You want to sell your boss on why they need to keep you around, why they should consider giving you a raise, right? And there's so many things that we do. You got to sell, basically if you're trying to negotiate a price on something that you found on Kijiji, right? You're going to need to negotiate, or if you want to, right? You're going to need to start with why this person feels that they should pay you, or you should pay them less money for their good, right? So that's why I really wanted to talk about today, really the lessons of what this book is, because it is for business, but it's not just for business. And that's really what I found cool about it. The basis of it, let's see if I can find it here real quick, is it's really four stories. So the first story is about the Wright brothers and them inventing the airplane. The next story is about Apple, Steve Jobs. The next story is Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. And then the last story here, they talk about Harley Davidson and Disney. So really what I wanted to, so this is where I get into, this is where I would get into the first one. So it's a story about, these three events that really happen and how they correlate with stuff in history, right? And so that's where I wanted to go, right into it. Number one is actually the premise behind this book is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And the perfect example that I don't remember, I don't know how long this is going to stay in my mind for, but I can't see myself forgetting it for a long time. And the one, comparison that they can use right here that'll sum up this entire book is Dell computers. They actually, Dell computers, right? We know Apple computers and we know Dell computers, right? IBM, all of the computer software companies, right? So the question in the book is basically, when was the last time you saw somebody stand outside the office for 7 hours to buy the new Dell phone? Right? You don't hear that. You hear people talking about how long they stood in line to get the new Apple iPhone. And is that because they feel that is that because Apple decided that they wanted to do whatever they can to change the world and they make you feel like, you're the best person in the world? No, it's definitely not because of that. It is because of the way that people feel when they hold the iPhone, right? The iPhone is a symbol of, complexities, right? It's a symbol of the great success that you have. This is me, right? I have this and people look up to me. If you're at me, I don't personally understand it. I don't really care. So I'm not an Apple user. So to me, I get it. I don't get it, but I get it, right? But if you're an Apple user, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly why you go to Apple products, even though Apple's not the best one. Apple doesn't have the best phone, the best computer, the best operating system, the best, functions, the best whatever, the list goes on and on. And actually, it's funny, I read an article just before coming on here that the new Apple iPhone is coming out with the original clownfish screensaver or wallpaper, whatever they call it. And so that's where I found it hilarious, is that, you got this book that basically talks about how great of a company Apple has been built into, and then here you go, is that people are super excited for the new iPhone because it comes with one of the original wallpapers. And that's, it's really cool. If you remember, the original wallpapers, it was that clownfish sort of swimming through the seaweeds, I guess, at the bottom of the ocean. And it was really a symbol of, this is technology. We can see it coming to fruition, right? So that's where I just thought that was funny that I was coming on here to talk about what a great company Apple is. And so that's really what, it is, right? People don't buy what Apple does. They don't buy the phone because it's a phone. They don't buy the computer just because it's a computer, right? They buy it because it's an Apple, right? That's what it is. And why you do things. The next story was of the Wright brothers talking, they invented the airplane. And actually that story was, there was another gentleman, I can't remember his name right off the bat, but he was he was actually, what did they call it? He had the recipe for success. And, he had all the high paying donors. He was well connected. He had the quote unquote best crew. He had all of the things, right? He had the quote unquote recipe for success. He was going to do it. But all the way across the country, and I believe it's North Carolina, you had these two Wright brothers and this team of people that they didn't have the money, the power, the technology, anything really. They knew that they wanted to be they had their why was they wanted to create what did they want? They wanted to create something that would compete with the car and the bus, right? They wanted to compete with land vehicles, but they knew they couldn't compete with land. And what's the best way to compete with land is the air, right? So that's where that was really their premise behind why they started. And that's what it was. When they started with their why, the one guy, he started with what? He wanted to be the first person to build the airplane and to get flight going, right? That was his what. But these guys, they had their why because they wanted to challenge regular driving, right? They wanted to have something else that people could do it, right? So that's really there. And then the next story that they talk about is Southwest Airlines. I guess they went through some tumultuous times, and they actually were on the verge of bankruptcy. They had to sell a plane in order to make their to make money to pay their staff and stuff, right? And actually they came up with they only had 2 planes that they were able to run for all of their routes, right? So they actually came up with something called the 10-minute clean, right? And they cleaned their airplanes between 10 minutes after the flight so that they could book more flights and go in that way. But that was the thing, right? They weren't the only airline around at that time. They weren't the only one that offered, cheap discount planeage. Yep, that's the word I'm using right now. And they weren't, they probably weren't the best airline around. They probably weren't the most, customer service, right? If you want, they've got their flaws, but what they wanted to do was they wanted to create this, this landscape for people that when they came on the Southwest Airlines, they felt like they were $1 million. And they actually Southwest Airlines introduced something called, oh no, it's not coming to me, but it's like spacious airlines, right? So they don't have classes. They have, each seat has nice space for everybody, so you all feel like you're first class, right? I'll bet you feel more like you're in the middle class, but you know what I mean, right? You got a little bit more leg room than anywhere else, and so that's where that's where starting with why. That's just in business, right? But I mentioned off the hop here, if you want to sell your wife on a particular vacation destination, or not even that, that lavish. If you want to sell her on a particular place to eat dinner, right? Or a particular weekend getaway thing, right? Or, you want to sell yourself to the lady at the bar, right? That you're trying to create this relationship with, right? You gotta start with why, right? If you're only going there with the what, right? This is what I want, and there's really no benefit for you outside of me getting what I want, then it probably might work, but chances are the premise behind here is that it will work immediately. The what will work, but when you start with why, when you have your why, it'll create longevity, right? So if you know why you're doing something, it will be able to be sustainable over an extended period of time. Fumble. Side note, water. Always stay hydrated. So number 2, you need to stand out. And this is actually what really I've been talking about, right? You've got Apple, you've got the Wright brothers that invented the airplane. You've got Martin Luther King, right? What these people do is they stand out over long periods of time. Another one they talked about was Walmart. And Walmart, they're not the only discount retail store. They're not the only big box store, but they have longevity, right? And they've created something that's been sustainable for an extended period of time. And that's what it is, right? Eventually, you need to stand out. You need to do something that is different than the competition. You can't just be doing the same thing over and over. Albert Einstein defined the definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? So what we want to do is eventually we need to do something to stand out from the competition, right? We need to know why we're going to keep going. And we need to know, we need to project our why into, everything that we do. And that's it. One of the things another premise in this book is that, is the celery test. And what that is more than anything is, if you meet somebody that says that they're looking to, change their health and wellness, and they're looking to live, a healthier, natural lifestyle, and then you look at their cart in the grocery store, right? That's the test right there. So if their cart has, chips and chocolate and pop and, all the stuff that you're not supposed to have, and then you're trying to tell me that you're trying to live, a natural, healthy lifestyle, your why is off, right? what you say and what I see is off. You don't pass the celery test. But if your cart is full of celery, right? Fruits, vegetables, the meats that you're supposed to eat, all of that stuff that you're supposed to do, then that's your why showing through, right? You're doing something to stand out. And and we all know it, right? This one actually was really cool when I started thinking about this one. Because we all know it, right? When we see somebody in the grocery store and their cart looks unlike ours, right? We either say one of two things. Wow, that person's really going to have a party tonight. Or, oh, that person's looking to eat healthy. Right? There's really the only two things there that you can say, and that's where you can tell based off the cart what type of person they are, right? And based off the cart, right, you can tell normally what kind of person they are by the way they look, right? The one cart, you have somebody that's a little bit bigger than they're supposed to, and the other cart, you have somebody that's a little bit skinnier than you are, and you're So if you want to have something that you can build for longevity, if you want to have something that's sustainable over time, stand out. Do what you can to stand out, to be different from the crowd. And you don't even have to do much, because somebody out there is looking for what you're talking about. They're looking for what you're selling, right? Quote unquote. So as long as you just keep going and keep being yourself, start with your why, people will come to you. Number 3, dreams can come true. I like this one because, everybody had a dream, right? Martin Luther King, I had a dream. That was his old speech, right? Civil rights movement. Steve Jobs and his buddy Steve Wozniak they had a dream of, whatever their dream was they wanted to help change the world and go against the status quo. Bill Gates' dream was to have a PC on every desk in America so that people would be able to quote unquote fight or have the same access to what big organizations did, right? So, the Wright brothers, they dreamed that they would be able to have something fly above the earth, right? So all of these people, they had big dreams. A lot of people, they have big dreams. And a lot of times what was it? It was 27.9 million businesses in the USA as of this writing. So 2009. So as of 2009, I'm sure there's a lot more. There's 27, almost 28 million businesses in the USA. There's a thing called the Fortune 1000. And what that is the 1,000 highest grossing companies. There are 1,000 companies that have a net sales, I think, or gross sales of $1.5 billion in sales. So that's 0.004% of companies in America will ever hit $1 billion in sales. So, right? So to say that these guys needed to dream big, to say that they need to stand out is the understatement of the year right there. So if you go into business, right? If you go into something almost, knowing that you're more likely to fail than you're not, then that really takes something, that takes a lot of guts, that takes a lot of dreaming, and that takes a lot of perseverance. And, but the best part about it is we know that it can be done because we've already seen it proven that it can be done. And so if it can be done, that means that there's a roadmap on how to get there. That means that somebody has left a path for us to follow to get there, and all we have to do is look for it. Tony Robbins has a quote: focus on what you want and you get more of it. Focus on what you fear, you get more of it. So, get more of what you focus on. Last thing I got here, life is hard, right? And that's what I was talking about. That's what I talked about right off the bat, right? We are all salespeople in the sense that we are all selling somebody else all the time on our idea of the way it should be, regardless of what that is. Either you're selling somebody on your side of the story, you're selling your wife or your girlfriend on the place that we're going to eat tonight, you're selling yourself to the person that you want to be with, you're selling your kids on why they should do what you say they should, right? And then you're selling in business on customers why they should buy your stuff. all of that together, that can be a lot overwhelming and it can be very challenging. And that's where I offer my coaching services. Consider a life coach, right? Book a free consultation now. Be on your way to, organizing your thoughts, creating a vision, a goal, a game plan for your life, and be on your way to living your best life yet. And if you already are living your best life yet, that's amazing. Keep doing you. I love you. That's all I got for you for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I had a lot of fun making it. Feel free to share this with your friends, a family member, perhaps somebody from your team that you feel needs to hear this. If you'd like to learn more about essential oils, how to get your hands on some of this cool stuff that I'm talking about, booking a free consultation for life coaching services, definitely reach out to me, drop me a comment, send me a message, and we'll get you rocking and rolling. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and an even better week. And I look very forward to talking to you again. I love you guys. Bye for now.